Welcome back, viewers! Before we get started, I just wanted to show off the save file. As you can see, we now have 100%, and there are just a dozen Metroids left. Let's start taking care of those, shall we? Back to the Omega Nest. Now, before we start hunting down those Metroids, I'm going to backtrack real quick and show off something that I didn't have a chance to in the last episode. There's some speed booster blocks here. That means there's something below. More here, so that means we have to go down even lower. And even lower than that. And lower still. Okay, there are none here. That means that this is where it all begins. And we're back where we started. Now, I'll admit that detour wasn't really necessary. It's not important unless you're looking to speedrun the game, but for the sake of completing the map, and for just showing it off, I thought I'd, well, show it off. Now let's look for those Metroids. It's rather dark here, so the minimap's going to be pretty important. Helps us see where these chambers are. Magma. This chamber's plugged up. But I'll bet it won't be after we defeat those 3 Metroids. And I'll bet there's one in this very room. Yep. Big bad Omega. Oh! She intercepted me that time. You may have noticed when I fought the first Omega Metroid that there's a gap in its carapace on the back. It opens up when it jumps. Hitting it there does triple damage, so I'm going to try to do that as much as possible. Oh, I was way off that time. Don't worry, we have plenty of chances. Oh, that was my fault. Oh no, I'm cornered. Take that! Oh, that was a beautiful shot. Right in the weak spot with a super missile. That could have gone a lot worse. Okay, so we're going to skip past the chamber with the magma in it. I know that's not going anywhere until we get another earthquake. And there will be another earthquake. Thanks for the super missiles, glowflies. Here's another chamber. And I think there's going to be another Metroid here. You know, I don't find Omegas to be all that hard. Sure, they're big and mean. Getting hit by them is a bit like getting hit by a locomotive. But their weak points are a bit easier to hit than on Zeta Metroids, in my opinion. They're bigger, but they're also slower. And unlike Zetas, they don't really try to defend themselves from your missiles. Just give them a wide berth, avoid their attacks, and strike their weak spots when you can, and you can't very well lose. Oh. They do occasionally corner you, though. That's the one problem. But, if you've gone out of your way to collect all the items like I did, you should have enough energy and ammunition to deal with anything. So far, things aren't going too badly. There's just one more Metroid in this area. And even if it is another Omega Metroid, which it probably is, I think we'll be alright. Grab some ammo on the way up. Okay. That's a tall tower of bubbles. There she is, the last Omega. When they crouch down like that, it's kind of hard to tell whether they're going to jump high up into the air or lunge directly at Samus. Give them enough space and it won't matter what attack they use. Oh. And she is terminated. There's an earthquake. And there's that unearthly roar again. Exactly where we have to go. Back to that chamber that had the magma in it. But we can grab a few super missiles on the way, thanks to the glowflies. Oh, went too low. Double back. I wasn't paying attention to the minimap. Now do you see why it's so vital? No more magma. That just looked like something I could bomb. Halzen, they're no threat now that I have this screw attack. You're just fodder now. There's a save station over here. Yep. I think we could venture a little farther, though. I think we have enough time. What do you think? Looks like we're leaving the nest. These rocks are pretty. I hear running water. A waterfall. From this point forward, we're going to want to avoid the pools below the waterfalls. You'll see why later. I remember this area from the Game Boy original. This really is the last hurrah. Closing in on the end. There's just 9 more Metroids to go. Wow, this is certainly a big chamber. It's got an otherworldly beauty to it. Now I'm going to show off why to avoid the pools below the waterfalls. Because that happens. Each of those waterfalls corresponds with an area above it. There's a gap in the pool that will cause you to fall through. So you can wind up looping around a couple times. Happened more often in the Game Boy version, just because the controls were kind of stiff. Okay. This chamber looks to be a bit on the big side, so the best way to explore it is going to be to use the speed booster. Now we'll let gravity do the work as we explore downward. This cavity is massive. It gives me vertigo just looking at it. There's some big Chozo structures back there, too. I wonder what it was like for the Chozo to live in a place like this. Okay, that seems to be the way inside this structure. I remember this music. Oh, what's this? Ah, a transit tube. Green rock strata? Water? Ah, the hydro station. Looks like I was wrong about never coming back here again. But there's nothing left here for us, so we're just going to double back and go right back to where we came from. Unfortunately, though, we're all out of time. So I'm going to head back to that save station and call it an episode. Thank you so much for joining me. This is Mike the Reaper 86, signing off.